Hey everyone, welcome back to our podcast. I'm Mel.
And I'm Claire.
And together we are
the Salty Hoes.
Well, good morning. It's good morning for us anyway. I don't know when you're listening, but it's bright and early. We're getting up after it early in the morning.
We are. We're up at the screak of dawn.
Indeed.
Do they say that in America?
We say the crack of dawn.
Oh, screek.
Screak.
Crack. It's all the same.
I've never heard that. Some people say the ass crack of dawn to be funny.
There you go.
I don't know.
I don't even know what a screek is. Honestly, it sounds like some kind of like old Irish agricultural tool or something. I don't know.
We'll have to look it
figure
up.
that one out.
Yeah. Well, before we get started, Claire, how was your week?
My week. Oh my gosh. I'm like, what day are we on? Where are we? What's happening? It's been a social week and kind of a busy week getting ready to travel. So that's always kind of busy
I'm so excited for you.
Thank you. I am too. I mean, like it's not a burden, but I don't know. There's like an Irish thing that when you leave, you have to have your house completely like immaculate from top to bottom.
I mean, it's a good idea because nobody likes coming home and being like, what is this shithole that I used to live in?
Well, my son and 2 cats will be here. So, I will not come home to how I left it. But,
okay. Well, maybe you could take some of that pressure off then. I mean, I know you, so probably not, but,
Yeah, probably not. So a wee ritual, I suppose, of sorts. But how has your week been?
It's also been fairly social. Now I'm suddenly blanking. What have I even done this week? I don't know.
I know. It's on the spot. You're like, wait, what?
Oh, we had a lovely pride party at our dear friend's house. So that was like super, super fun. I had a great time.
It was a lovely night.
What else? I feel like I had other things.
Any dates?
No dates. So sad.
No dates over here.
No dates.
I haven't had a date since short stick. Like it's we are officially
I mean, you got to have another one. That's a bad one to end on.
I know. It's not good, but arguably enough to put you off for life. So
sure. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's fair. He was gross.
Gross. Any prospects?
I did start talking to someone, but he lives in Denver, so that is kind of disappointing. Of course he seems amazing, and of course he doesn't live here.
Well, of course. It's like the minute you see like a good looking man that's actually functional and, can hold a good conversation and you're like, and then you're a 9-hour drive away.
Exactly. I mean, I usually don't match with people that aren't here, but he was one of those that was coming through. You know what I mean? So it showed his location is here. And then he immediately left.
Damn it.
I think I drive them out, Claire. That's the only logical explanation.
No, you're drawing him in from afar. That's what you're doing. So
we'll
I promise
see.
It's not your fault. You are not the problem, Mel. You are not the problem.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, you said the word ritual, and so I feel like we should talk about something we did together this week.
Yes, this was a really good part of our week.
Yes, it was lovely. So Claire, my beautiful, wonderful entrepreneurial friend, set up a little experience for us to go to Ritual Hot Yoga, and it was absolutely lovely.
It was amazing, and I think what is part of what makes that place amazing is its owner. We shout out to Emily. She's a lovely young businesswoman, doing great things. It's a lovely studio, and I believe they're like a franchise or a chain, but she didn't make it feel that way, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't even sure it was a chain. So great job, Emily. She was lovely. I really like her.
Amazing. And it just had all these like wee nice touches. There was like a little tea and coffee station, all just free, like there. And one thing that I have never, ever experienced, and I have gone to yoga classes for a long, long time, is everything was there. Mats were out. You got a mat topper. You got a towel. You got your blocks. They even had these little nifty clips to put your little, if you do sweaty yoga, your towel on the top. And I was like amazed by those. I've never seen those. Amazing.
Yeah, the space was really, really nice. And do you know what I appreciated? I have done yoga off and on for a long time, but not very regularly. You might have
Yeah.
noticed when you were watching me do yoga. I'm not very good at
I was
it.
just trying to live.
Yeah, I mean, I
didn't
know.
see anything.
I know that being good at it is not the point. I do understand that, but I'm not like super flexible or whatever. But what I really appreciated was every time I've done hot yoga before, the studio kind of smells bad. Is that fair?
Yes.
But this one did not. It actually smelled good.
You're like, wow. I would agree that there is always like a low-key feet smell.
Yes, it's like kind of a weird mustiness.
Yes, it's like just a weird thing happening there. And, I do remember that the old Brickroom yoga in Salt Lake used to have like a carpet tile floor. And I was like,
Carpet?
why would you do that for all that sweat? And it just was rank. Like it stunk to high heaven.
Gross.
Luckily they moved to a washable surface floor now, but yes, it smelled and felt very clean, which is important when you look like you've just created a crime scene with your sweat.
Yes, for sure. Wow. I'm mind blown by carpeted hot yoga studio. I mean,
Yeah.
that's like carpeting your bathroom. Disgusting.
It's like, ugh. Yeah, it was like, that it was probably worse because it was like that carpety short pile, scratchy almost stuff. So
Ew.
like, I'm sure it just absorbed and like retained
That's so
all
gross.
of the sweat.
You can't clean that out either.
No.
You just have to burn it down and start over.
Yes. Maybe that's why they got a new building.
Yeah,
but-
maybe so.
But yeah. But it did not smell. And one thing that she said, I overheard her like introducing someone to the studio, and she was like, everything's here so you don't have all this laundry. And I was like,
That's so sweet.
that's like amazing.
Yeah.
Like difference with a female business owner, maybe.
Oh, and speaking of, you know what else I really appreciated and liked was the consent candle. So they did tell us as we were coming into class that they would, put hands on to help adjust or do like a little neck massage or whatever. But if you didn't want it, you could put a little candle in front of your mat and they wouldn't touch you. I appreciate that a lot.
Yes, and it was so cute with the wee candle because another thing I loved is it was kind of in the dark. Well, it was in the dark with just like candles, so it was like definitely a mood.
Yeah, I like that too because then I don't feel like anyone's looking at me.
Yes, and it helps you get out of your head a wee bit, like, and it just feels more relaxing, I think, than big like lights overhead. So
Yes.
yeah.
Although the downside of that is someone like me who does not know the names of all the poses, as you may have noticed, when she's like, do archer pose. I'm like, what the fuck is archer pose?
I know.
And I was trying to look around, which is what I usually do in yoga, right? I look around surreptitiously to see like what people are doing. And it was like kind of dark. And also like it was moving fast. So like everyone was doing something different when she said archer pose, and I was like, okay, I still don't know what archer pose is. I'm like, I'm just gonna skip that one. I'm just gonna stay in my twist till we move on to the next thing.
Yeah, that's fair. I also did the same because, there can be variations on poses or people use slightly different names. And I was also looking around a lot and I just saw like people moving to the back of their mat. So I just like moved. I didn't do the pose. I just was like,
I feel like by the end you were doing the archer pose because it seemed like people kind of synced up with it. But by then I'd already given up. I was like, well,
Yes.
archer pose is dead to me, at least for tonight. I'm not going there.
You're like, it's fine.
I'll learn that later.
Exactly. As long as you're moving, I
Yeah.
think that's the key part. And we were moving. I felt it for a couple of days. We did the Feral Friday.
So fun.
It was so fun. And honestly, again, love this about Emily. She looked at us and said, I think you would probably go for the Feral Friday option.
It's almost like she's listened to our podcast or something.
It's like, oh, like recognizes like.
That's
Let's
right.
all be feral together.
That's
So-
right. Namaste. The feral in me
Yes.
recognizes and salutes the feral in you.
Perfect. Yes. We know each other when we see each other in the wild.
Yes.
So it's good times.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Emily.
Yes. Go check out Ritual Yoga if you're in the city of the Salt on Highland Drive. It's a good wee spot.
Yeah,
So
it's centrally located in Mill Creek. Really, really nice space. So definitely recommend giving them a try.
definitely. Well, yoga. We decided after that we wanted to talk about yoga, but kind of not necessarily through an ex-Mormon lens, but it definitely made us think about a lot of the rules, shall we say, that are very flexible, pun intended.
No pun intended. Well, I think we have a lot of angles to discuss yoga from because for those of you that don't know, my dear Claire is a certified yoga teacher, and she has another one of her many successful businesses teaching yoga.
Oh, you are so nice. It's yes. I was like, let's define success, but my success in that area is I have done yoga for a very long time, and we'll talk about all the sides of yoga, appropriation, and westernization of a sacred tradition and all that good stuff, but I've done it for probably over 20 years at this point. But I'm so old that, you had to get a book from the library or a video. Like, there wasn't too many yoga classes happening in Belfast during the Troubles. So,
Oh, wow.
or at least I couldn't find them.
So did you get like a VHS tape or something like that?
I did. I got like a VHS tape from the library. But then the good luck would have it is one of my lovely friends, Miriam, who we thought was really posh and wealthy and exotic, became a yoga teacher. So that was really handy.
Wow.
And she would do little Monday night classes at my kids' and her kids' elementary school. But it was a Monday night, Mel. What do you think was the tension there?
Oh, family home evening.
It was family home evening, and I was like, oh my God, how I really want to do this, but I have family home evening. And also I was like the only Mormon within about 100 miles. So it's not like, everybody had it. This was my inner angst. But I consulted with my husband, a man of the Lord.
And a bishop.
And a bishop. And we adjusted our family home evening time. And he so graciously would put the children to bed that night so I could attend yoga.
Wow. And how many trophies or medals did he need for putting the children to bed one night a week?
100 million.
Exactly.
But yes, there we were in that lovely world. But it was great. And then she started to do kids yoga, which was really good. So I sent my kids, and then I did like a pregnancy yoga video, again, VHS.
Wow.
Actually, I think it was a DVD at that point. Oh my God, we're so old. Going through all the like artifacts. And I did it all the way through my pregnancy with my youngest baby, who shot out literally
There you go.
of myself, shall we say. And can we attribute that to prenatal yoga? I don't know, but didn't do any harm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe she was just all done doing yoga. She's like, get me out of here. I'm
Or
joking.
maybe, yeah, I know. No more of this. Or maybe at that point it was child number 3. So, there was not a lot holding her in.
That's true. They tend to go faster, don't they? I don't know because I've had only one, but that's what I hear.
Yeah, well, that seemed to be the pattern anyway. So that's my wee journey with yoga. When did you first come into contact? You were a Cali girl as a kid, so I imagine it was around.
It was definitely around. I mean, do you remember how you first heard of yoga? I mean, how did you know to order a video or DVD or whatever?
That's a great point. I think I probably read about it in a book or a magazine or something.
Interesting. Okay. I mean, yeah, definitely there was yoga around. I don't remember like first hearing of it because in California, I think it was already fairly, not ubiquitous, but it was fairly widespread. And I think I remember friends talking about it maybe, but I am kind of interested in your husband, the bishop, rearranging family home evening for yoga, because what I remember growing up in the Mormon church was being discouraged from doing yoga. They kind of put it in this basket with other, like what they considered to be Eastern or pagan or like whatever things that they discouraged people from doing. Like, I don't remember it being like a hard prohibition, but I definitely remember people talking shit on it and just saying that wasn't something you should be doing.
Wow, that's so surprising.
Is it though?
No.
No.
Heavy sarcasm. Yeah, like the distrust, maybe just I benefited from being in Ireland, on a little small island in the North Atlantic, because at that point I don't think that it was sort of pervasive enough for anyone to know to object to it yet.
Oh, so it wasn't on the radar yet.
I think it was more to do with that rather than them having an accepting attitude towards it.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that wasn't unique to the Mormons. I think evangelical Christians in general at that time were really suspicious of anything, quote, Eastern, particularly anything that had an association with another spiritual tradition.
Yeah, like if you did a stretch, that was you automatically sucked into a vortex of unforgiving Christianity, rejecting debauchery.
That's right. That's exactly it. Well, I think that probably it makes a lot of sense, right? Because we've talked before about how Mormonism is kind of this patriarchal, top-down, authoritarian experience, and maybe anything that teaches you to trust yourself and your body and your intuition is something that they would be suspicious of.
I love that assessment of it. I don't think that could be any more perfect because, we are raised with the idea, you're a young girl and this androgynous spirit, but is also kind of suggested male Holy Spirit inhabits your body and tells you what you should be doing, giving you instruction, which is just so wild to me, because it's very subconscious, right? Like you're growing up, oh, I can't trust in myself. It has to be the Holy Spirit.
Right. And they have, if you sort of get the message from, inside yourself or from a spirit or whatever that contradicts something in the Mormon church, well, that's not real, right? That's a false spirit. You're not listening to the real Holy Ghost. It becomes really tricky and confusing. And I feel like I did see growing up representations of the Holy Spirit, and it was always drawn as a man.
Yeah, and I just think like the inference or even the pronouns, it was certainly never a she. It could have been a they, but it was never a she, but definitely a he. And, I always just envisage, like those wee cartoon characters with like a devil and an angel on the shoulder.
Yes, that's exactly it.
It's like, it will be a counterfeit spirit. And it's like, well, how might it make itself known? Like, how are you to know which one is which? Like,
Oh, well, I think that if we really go back, Joseph Smith had a whole set of like a decision tree of how to recognize a false spirit, right? Are you supposed to ask it to like shake hands, or there's like some other like tell questions that you can ask it?
Wow.
This is ringing a vague bell. I don't remember the details, but for sure there was like, they were really a little more into this as a literal concept back in the early Mormon days.
Oh my God, you have unearthed a new level of religious trauma.
Oh no.
No, just kidding. It's not traumatic, but just it's like it's kind of funny because, I think modern Mormons present as we're logical, we're clear, we don't believe in all that woo-woo shit, and yet I had totally erased that from my brain, where it was something about if a literal person presents, you had to ask to shake their hand, and if they refused or something, then they were evil, because apparently if they were evil, you wouldn't feel their hand.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that. But I thought, maybe I'm remembering wrong. I thought if they did offer to shake your hand, then they were fake.
Oh,
but I could
be
backwards. It's been a really long time.
Yeah, I could also be backwards. I just know that, like, wasn't it if they did shake it and you didn't feel it, they were evil or something?
Yeah, it was something like that. It was there was definitely a handshake involved. Okay,
Oh my
friend,
God.
we'll look it up. But friends who might have been, Mormon more recently than us, or remember this better, let us know. Pop into the comments and tell us about how you distinguish between a good spirit and an evil spirit.
Absolutely. And that, honestly, that is hilarious. I totally space it. And I'd love to hear as well if that's a thing that is shared, like, now, or they've kind of ditched that. Like, they've ditched a lot of things while maintaining the claim that they never changed their position.
Yeah, my guess would be that they've never like disavowed it. They just don't talk about it anymore, like so many other things.
Yeah,
Like getting
fair.
your own planet, even.
Oh, God. The planet is off the table. I'm so glad I left.
I don't think it's off the table. I think we just don't really discuss it anymore because it sounds weird.
Yeah, it just sounds a little weird to get your little Kolob 2.0 planet.
That's
Yeah,
right, with
but
all your wives to repopulate it.
lovely. But no yoga there.
But no
yoga
yoga.
is
Yeah,
to be
no yoga.
practiced.
Sorry, we've kind of come far afield from yoga, but actually not really, because I
Not
think it
really.
all sort of ties in, right, to this suspicion of other spiritual traditions. And I love what you said a few minutes ago about like, oh, we're so logical and rational. Like that's what I heard a lot growing up. Like, oh my God, this all just like makes sense. And I did, have a little flashback to someone in my ward saying that when I was explaining Mormon philosophy and doctrine to my son. At some point, he asked about Mormon heaven, so I drew him out the whole plan of salvation. We were actually at Wasatch Brew Pub, like in Sugar House. So I drew
Amazing.
it all out, and he like listened to the whole spiel, and he's looking at the diagram, and then he was probably in early middle school or late elementary school. He like looked up at me after this entire spiel, and he's like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Oh, I love him, straight to the point as always.
He's like, they don't really believe this, do they? I was like, well, yeah.
Oh, yeah, smart kid.
Right?
Smart kid. Yep. I mean, and it really is a plan that, talk about a power structure even within heaven, different levels for different people.
That's right.
Like,
And then different levels in different levels.
yes,
The whole
it's
pyramid
like
scheme.
literally multi-level marketing at its best, like heaven inception.
Yeah, right? That's so funny.
Oh, and so many rules. And of course, the best chance of getting there is if you are a hetero, married, preferably more than once, but only through death, man with children.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep, that's like your highest odds
Yeah,
of making
the more
it.
kids, the better.
Yep, and I mean, the more wives.
Well, we don't
I
talk
know we're
about that either anymore.
Well, I know we're talking about yoga, but it might be interesting to point out that while the Mormon Church disavows the practice of polygamy, it still exists, because if you're a man and your wife passes, you can actually get married again to another woman without getting rid of the other woman. So heavenly polygamy is alive and well.
Yes, very much so. I mean, and this is a doctrine that, like, I don't think they've ever disavowed any part of it. It's just been and actually, I was taught that in church growing up, that polygamy was still a doctrine of the church. We just don't practice it on earth right now for, like, political expediency, basically.
It's a celestial, the highest of the highest kingdoms practice, right? Because we did understand that as women, we would, if we were to get the big top prize of the kingdoms, that then we would probably have to be a plural wife.
Oh yeah, I remember some young women's teachers talking about how much they wrestled with that and how sad it made them that in the afterlife they would be sharing their husband and their sort of spiritual struggles to come to terms with it. So, I mean, it was something still causing trauma in the 1990s, I can tell you that.
Oh, hell yeah. I remember feeling that myself. And, you would be like, but I don't want to share you. And the men would always just say, well, I'm sure we'll figure it out when we're there.
Oh my God, vomit. Gross.
Oh,
Oh, so gross.
really gross. Maybe yoga actually would have helped everybody.
I know, right? Yes.
Oh, oh, wow. Well, it's interesting that, that was your experience where they were like, step away from the evil, and for me, it just wasn't there, so hadn't become an issue yet. But the church seems to, I know it's shocking, done kind of a 180.
I know. Yeah, now it's a
Not
thing.
They actually have made a video, or like a 4-week yoga guide specifically for missionaries.
What?
Yes,
That's
but
crazy.
only it is recommended, and I quote, as a form of physical fitness for missionaries.
Okay.
End quote.
Wait, so I'm sorry. So only missionaries are supposed to do this yoga, or it's only physical fitness with no spirituality attached? I'm confused what work the only is doing in this sentence.
I think yes. Well, it's not, the only is not for missionaries,
Okay.
although the 4-week yoga guide is designed for the missionary community. I don't know if the other church members have access, or you have to have like a missionary
Account?
bypass code. Yeah. Put in your missionary discount code. But the only applies to form of physical exercise.
Okay.
It's intended specifically for missionaries housed in small spaces.
Okay. Okay. So they're just basically saying it's for stretching and not for any sort of spiritual like use. Is
Yeah,
that right?
it's
Okay.
don't turn into a lazy bastard in your small European style apartment, because we know you missed your McMansion in Salt Lake City, so you're gonna have a wee stretch. So
That is so
yeah.
interesting. Like so many things have changed since we were kids. And I want to talk about this a different time, but like I notice now that it seems like all the young women are wearing crosses now. Like our Secret Lives of
Whoa.
Mormon Wives,
Yeah.
ladies are wearing crosses. My nieces are wearing crosses. And when I was a kid, that was absolutely a no-no. You did not fucking wear a cross. Like that was explicitly forbidden. And now it seems like they're all doing it, which is really weird.
It's so weird because, yeah, like it was a big no-no.
Big no-no.
Yeah. Or decorative crosses,
Can't have
jewelry.
those.
No. And it was very, like, you would have been shunned.
Oh, big time. That's worse than showing your porn shoulders.
Yes. Like, and now they have crosses and shoulders.
I know, it's wild.
It's definitely the end of times, Mel.
It is. It's coming.
Yeah. All these yoga practicing whores with their shoulders out and their crosses on. Like, what is the
What's
world
happening?
coming to? Oh my goodness. Well, we like a data point.
We do. We love them.
Yeah. And weirdly, I'm like, wow, that was real specific. But somebody at the Pew Research Center, I love a good Pew report.
Always.
Yeah, did a survey back in 2012, so quite some time ago, where they found that 27% of Mormons believe in yoga not just as exercise, but a spiritual practice. And it's above the sort of average of the non-Mormons, that's around 23%. So, wow.
That's really interesting. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, Mormons.
Yeah, look at them, new agey folk. So, I wonder if it has evolved more or degenerated in the last decade or so. That I didn't have any more up-to-date data points.
I mean, I don't know, of course, but without any data at all, I would speculate that probably it would have grown or stayed the same.
Yeah, I think at least, especially now that they have the Mormon or the missionary 4-week yoga program.
Yeah, that is so crazy.
I want to do it. I want to find it.
We should do it.
Let's go on the dark web. We could do like a before and after.
Oh my God.
Like
hilarious.
Body transformation 4-week Mormon yoga program.
I wonder who they hired to develop their 4-week yoga program. That's really interesting.
That is the part that kind of makes me have a giant gag reflex, because I am afeared to think of how they approached it, like Number one, this sounds terrible. What are they wearing? Well, because, yoga, you can wear loose clothing or tight clothing. Honestly, tight can be better because some of the poses I have gotten caught up in my own pants when I've gone baggy. So
I could imagine
there is
that.
that.
Yeah. I wear
So
I wear tight clothes. I wear as little as possible when I'm doing yoga.
especially the hot yoga.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like I definitely wear things I would not normally consider wearing in not a dark, sweaty space. So
That was another thing I loved about Ritual being dark, because usually I wear leggings, but I was like, I'm gonna sweat my ass off. I mean, I did anyway, but I just wore like my Bori shorts because they're like kind of loose and like they have, a built-in line or whatever. So you're not totally flashing everyone, but that's not like my normal yoga clothes. But I was like, I can't. I will die. I will die in leggings.
And that is definitely another good reason for the dark. I 100% agree. You can, be a great unwaxed person and not give someone a wee mini heart attack.
Yeah,
So,
feel safe in your body in all the ways.
yeah, which is the whole point, right?
Yeah.
I went on a little dive. Do you remember a thing? It was another thing I'd forgotten about called the Mormon Channel.
I don't remember the Mormon Channel.
And so just so we're not giving you Angel Night PTSD, we're not channeling as in angel channeling, but like a TV channel. So I remember this coming out. I was still Mormon, so it must be quite old at this point, maybe 15, 20 years. And I think it was like a safe entertainment for the family, like features, interesting interviews about life.
Was this on like basic cable or what? What was the venue?
I think it was just the interwebs because, in Ireland, I remember watching it in Ireland. I think it was that time where like that LDS Life magazine and shit came out. Like
I don't remember that either.
You were gone. You were well gone at that stage, my friend.
Oh, was it like late 90s or something?
Even maybe early 2000s.
Oh, okay. And I was gone. I had pieced out. I had escaped. Yep. I was free. I was running wild and free in San Francisco.
Enjoying the good life and coffee in the mornings.
Exactly.
And yes, all the other debauchery, of course, which is the reason why most people leave. Did you do yoga?
Right? Yeah, that was why, actually. Ignore my whole episode. It was yoga.
I lived in San Francisco. I had to drink coffee and do yoga. So, yeah, I think it was their attempt to make it like glossy and glitzy and appealing and all of that good fun stuff. So I stumbled across a yoga feature on the Mormon Channel and I threw up in my mouth several times. It was really just
gross.
Wow. And they started right at the start where the very interested dynamic interviewer was like, so what does the word yoga mean? And so, there's all kinds of different translations, obviously, but they went with the yoke.
Okay.
The word yoke, because we know that the Mormons love the word yoke.
They do, yeah. I've heard that before. Probably in yoga class somewhere at some point.
Yeah. Oh, the yoke thing.
Yeah.
Well, they attributed it to the union of body and mind, which, yeah, great. And I also thought of you in that moment because I was like, Mel's going to have some things to say that they are...
I always have some things to say. Sorry.
We'll say them. Why would you be sorry? My God. Just pretend you're a middle-aged, like, white Mormon man and you won't ever say sorry again.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. It's something, preferably that you've no expertise in, but you do actually have expertise in this area. So tell us why it bugs you.
I think I've talked about this before, that I don't think of the body and the mind as separate. So I don't know, this sort of body-mind connection. I think you could use it usefully as an analogy, but I don't believe in dualism where the soul is something separate that is just sort of riding around in your head. I think, in fact, your nervous system is, well, we know this, is distributed throughout your body so that your mind really is your body and your body is your mind.
It's like saying the union of your hand and arm.
Yeah.
Like, it just is.
Right.
Like, it is designed to be joined together. They quickly pivoted into, doesn't that often make you think of yoking oxen? To which no.
Not, I mean, I guess I'm thinking about it now, but not really.
Mind has never gone there, I have to say, when I thought of yoga or yoking, but we do know that the Mormons love a good oxen yoke.
You know, when I hear the word yoke, what I usually think is like a really good-looking, built man's back, right? When you say they're yoked, It means their like back is really built and sexy.
Oh, hot.
So that's where my mind goes because it's dirty.
I I like your version much more than the, temple
Ew.
image that you want to tell us about that, Mel.
The temple image? Oh, wait. I'm not sure what you're thinking of. Oh, like where they do the baptisms for the dead on the back of the 12 oxen?
Who are all yoked
Are
together,
they yoked?
yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess I haven't looked closely enough. And I think I've only seen it a couple of times, like in the temple. I think I went once or maybe twice when I was a teenager for that. And then I have seen it like at an open house, like a temple open house, when they like let the unwashed public in before they dedicate the temple and close it to only card-carrying members. So I have some image of the 12 oxen with a bull on top, but it's not a very clear image.
Yeah, and maybe I am imposing the yokification of the oxen. But I just feel like that is an image I carry in my head, or, that actually may not be real, like so many of the other images associated with my former faith.
I think the image that comes to my mind more is oxen yoked together pulling covered wagons across the plain while women are dropping dead of childbirth on the trail as they're trying to move to Utah. That's kind of more the Mormon image that comes to my head when you say yoke.
That is actually a fair one too, because there were a lot of, yoked oxen in that scenario that you so beautifully described, because you're always brought up with this very clean, clear image of that, right? And when we were driving my youngest baby child to Chicago for school, which basically is the route of the Mormons walking.
Yeah, the Mormon Trail.
Yeah, and I even saw some signs, along the road. And I was like, good God. Like you can't even drive it in winter. They were like, this section of road may be closed in winter. And you're like, yeah, that was never a good idea.
I mean, it was a horrific thing to ask of people, especially since the reason was that the Mormon leaders couldn't keep it in their pants, and that's why they had to leave.
Yeah, if you do
to sort of boil it down.
Yeah, I mean, if you have sex with 14-year-olds, people may ask you to leave their town, yes.
Or with women that are already married to other non-Mormon people.
Just, all the layers there. But let's turn it into a nice story that it's a beautiful trek, to show your diligence.
To be fair, it wasn't only like sexual, peccadillos. It was also burning printing presses and stuff like that. So
petty crime and violence as well. We're feeling spicy this
I guess
morning.
We are, man. I don't know if I need more coffee or less coffee.
I know. It's just, see, this is why they warned you about it, Melissa.
That's right. That's why.
You're gonna drink coffee, and then you're gonna start a subversive podcast that endorses yoga and talks shit on the pioneers and the yoked oxen. Like, see, you are living proof of the degeneration that happens when you start drinking coffee.
Just one little cup of coffee. That's what they told us. That's all it takes. Okay, I apologize. I'm derailing your discussion, your serious discussion of the yoke and yoga and so forth. So back to the yoke.
This is how we do it. I love it.
That's true. It's our thing.
Yeah. You know, it just was really kind of a gross moment. And here's the thing, like, I am not blaming the Mormons for this, because obviously many, many groups and individuals, they take yoga and sort of turn it into what they want, right?
Yeah.
Like with anything. And like, I'm not standing here as a raging hypocrite, you know, being like mean girl mom style, like, well, I'm not like all the yoga practitioners, I'm a cool yoga, like, I'm not saying that at all, you know, because I do wrestle with the whole idea of, you know, being a white middle-aged lady teaching yoga and how that should look, or what you should say and what you shouldn't say. And, you know,
can we dive into that a little bit more?
Yes, let's take the wee dive.
Okay, I like it. So I don't know. I guess there's this idea of cultural appropriation. We all have some vague idea, I think, of what that means. My impression of yoga, maybe I'm just thinking out loud, maybe you can help me with this, is that yoga isn't really one thing, right? Like, this is a very ancient tradition. It's practiced across Southeast Asia. It's not even really just specific to India, right? And it comes from spiritual traditions of Hinduism and Buddhism and Jainism. It's like all of the above. And there's many, many different types of it, right? Practiced in a really widespread manner, even traditionally. And sort of now, widespread in the Western world as well. But I don't know that I feel really strongly that practicing yoga as a white lady is cultural appropriation. I mean, to me, this seems more like a cultural exchange.
Well, I mean, maybe. And I'm not going to say I'm the mouthpiece of...
We're just having a conversation here.
Yes.
We're not speaking for anyone but ourselves.
100%. And I know, I mean, like all good things, right? Your thoughts can change over time,
sure.
Or, you know, but I don't know if I fully feel that. And it's not, I just don't know if I could make that determination, because it's not from my culture, if that makes sense.
Sure.
You know, I don't know if it feels appropriated or wrong or terrible, because I did not learn it through a sacred tradition, or it wasn't grounded in, you know, maybe my very land, you know. So I don't know is what I'm saying. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, my impression also is that yoga was introduced to the United States and Western Europe by people from India that brought it here. It's not like we went and stole it, right? As part of colonization, it was brought here by, you know, various gurus and various different yoga traditions, and then kind of folded out from there. And I'm not saying that you know, there's nothing wrong you could do about it, right? I know you've thought more deeply about this than I have as a yoga practitioner and as a yoga teacher, but just I don't know, people doing yoga to me doesn't seem that problematic. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have a clear, decisive answer. I really do, I think, exist in the realm of I don't know.
And that's fair. You don't have to have answers to everything.
Yeah, this is very true. In fact, that I personally believe, despite my life in Mormonism, that the more gray area you can live in, the better. Although some things we should be decisive about, for sure. But you know, other things not so much. But I sometimes wonder about the perception, and this just doesn't apply to yoga, it could apply to a lot of things, of willful giving versus cultural imperialism too, because I think not just yoga, but a lot of things can be, and again, not being decisive, can be cloaked in, you know, but no, look, it's willingly shared, but it maybe ignores a power dynamic that's there, in terms of, oh, we like this part. We would really like to take this little part over here, but we don't want that part. Or, in terms of looking at colonialization or colonizers specifically. But, I do come from a somewhat defensive mindset of an Irish person. And, you know, some things are chill, and then other times you're like, I'm actually kind of upset about that, So I don't know. I think, for me, like when I did my yoga teacher training, it actually turns out that my meditation teacher was like a raging bitch. Was so interesting. And that was not just my comment. In fact, I believe she was let go after our semester because everyone was literally crying. But she would always want us to chant. But I didn't know what the chants were, what they meant. And for me, that was just like a no. I was like, that I'm not going to do that. And that was rooted in, just respect for it. It would obviously be a very meaningful practice for somebody that it was meaningful to.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And I think that living in the gray makes a lot of sense to me. I think that a lot of these things exist on a spectrum as well. I mean, I'm not saying that cultural appropriation isn't a thing and it doesn't happen. I do think there's a difference between, say, putting on a Native American style headdress and going to a football game and like respectfully practicing yoga. You know what I'm saying? Like there is a difference between the two cultures, for example, right? Like, a culture that's been genocided basically into almost non-existence versus, India and Southeast Asia, which is a giant, ancient, still thriving culture. Yes, it was colonized in the last few hundred years, but it's not been genocided into non-existence, right? India is now the most populous country in the world. So I think an exchange between two large dominant cultures is a different thing than wiping a culture out and then stealing some costumes and running around on Halloween or something like that. Do you know what I mean? I think these things exist in a spectrum and there's just different degrees.
Yeah, I mean, I think and maybe it's more in like the optics of it too, you know what I mean? Because obviously, like the example that you gave in terms of like, which is a big issue here in Merca, and even here in Utah with the Utes up at the University of Utah, versus maybe what would be seen as like a very singular practice. And maybe it's the distinction between individual practice versus like the toxic side of wellness industry.
Ooh, yeah, I wanted to get to that as well. I mean, to me, the commercialization actually is much more icky than just like someone practicing yoga, right? And I don't mean like someone charging a little bit to like teach or whatever. Of course, people should be compensated for their time. I mean, like trying to like gate it, right? Control it in terms of intellectual property, right? Like try to put a copyright, trademark, or patent on something that isn't, in your own spiritual and intellectual tradition, and then make a shit ton of money out of it. That does seem quite distasteful to me.
You 100% nailed it. You see, I struggle with articulating thoughts, and then you just speak what is in my head.
Sometimes.
And I think that's what I've been like struggling to articulate, because there's such a difference between like an individual practice versus maybe it's the academic in us. It's attribution is, I think, the part where I get the ick, right? Because I mean, I have, tried to make a business out of yoga, specifically just like a non-performative brand of yoga. For me, it's more rooted in, it's not about the Lululemons and the mirrors. In fact, that can actually, I do a trauma-informed approach to yoga, and that can be really bad actually for some people that have trauma. And it's just about moving the body. That's my approach. Not to say it's the right approach. It's just my approach. But I think it's when either you know, the Western world collectively or individual people are like, look at this thing I discovered.
This 5,000-year-old thing,
yeah,
or more, maybe, I don't know, that like I just came up with.
right. And I think that that's the difficult part because, we can look at India as a country, and British colonization was brutal.
Definitely.
As it is,
I would
is
never say
apt to be.
otherwise.
Yeah, and it's there's just a power dynamic, I think, that can't be ignored, even if it was willingly, quote unquote, brought to other countries. I mean, obviously, with globalization, lots of things, for good and bad, are shared, right? Like, that's why there's McDonald's in really weird places now.
Oh, of course. But I mean, that's always been the case. If you look all the way back to ancient history, like Egypt was exchanging ideas and goods with Africa and then passing them on to, Asia, right? And then from there, they were moving to Europe. Ideas and like things were passing along the Silk Road from China, right? Which big dominant culture now as then, and passing through the Silk Road to Europe, and like everything was kind of going both ways. Cultural exchange with India has been happening since at least the Hellenic period, right? Like Alexander the Great tried to conquer India, failed, right, died, but like ideas were moving back and forth, like practices, ideas and goods were moving back and forth all the way back, hundreds of years, thousands of years BC.
Pre-interwebs, yes.
Yeah, pre everything that we think about.
Yeah, it was happening then. And yet that's kind of an amazing point, none of this is a new idea in terms of the exchange of ideas.
Yeah, the Greeks were aware of yoga as well as other Indian spiritual practices. I'm not saying they practiced it, but they observed it, like they were aware.
Isn't it funny to think of like the parts where instantly colonizers were like, oh yes, that part, and then they're like, that maybe looks a bit hard, so
yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, they didn't successfully colonize India. They might have tried, but they didn't.
Yeah, but it's just like, it's funny, well, not funny, haha, but funny, peculiar, the parts that they were very ready to take, and then the other practices they were going to leave behind. So yeah, I mean, I think that's what it comes down to. And I think the reason the little Mormon channel thing give me the ick is because everything they mentioned about yoga, they applied it to the gospel. And
ew.
I know, you're just like, sharpen, take a breath, which I get it. Like, you could argue that we could all do things in our lives and apply them to our circumstance, and but to just, like they talked about sun salutations, for example.
Oh boy.
Yeah, which, it's a devotional morning ritual. So that one you could put over in sort of the devotional aspect of yoga, right? It's rooted in the ancient Vedic tradition. It's a foundational yoga sequence, so usually you'll start a flow after a warm up with that. But it's about like reverence for the sun, life-giving aspect of the sun, all that kind of stuff, linking your breath with your movement.
I have a quick question about that. So in Hinduism, traditionally, is there a deity associated with the sun? Is there a solar deity that this is meant to honor?
That's a great question that I do not have the answer for. I would assume, I don't know the name of the sun god, but
I would suspect that there is or was.
Yeah. I think that sounds fair.
Okay, just sorry. A clarifying question.
No, I love it. I love all the questions. Thank you for modeling for all the men out there, Mel. Little dig, see we're feeling spicy this morning.
That's right.
But they, of course, immediately took it in as, it's the Son of God.
Ew.
not the sun. And you're like, no, but it is. In this circumstance, like, it is.
Okay, yeah, you know what? I am with you here for sure. This is also giving me the ick, because this seems very distinct from like, okay, I'm going to take, some of the asanas, I'm going to practice them for like my physical and spiritual wellness. This is taking a spiritual tradition and like superimposing your own on it and essentially erasing the original, right? It's not that you're just not really like paying attention to it. You're actually actively rewriting it. That feels pretty gross.
It's like next level appropriation, right? Like you're not only taking it without attribution, you're taking it and being like, actually, it's mine now. You've had it wrong this whole time. It's just a coincidence that you do it in the morning.
Yoink. This is mine.
Yes. Like,
wow.
It was not pleasant. And this trend continued when they talked about pranayama, which is about the breath, right? Mm-hmm. And like, I love breathwork. Shout out to Katie Shifkin, who is like the best breathwork practitioner in all of Salt Lake City. Does amazing breathwork at the local co-op, Mosaic Yoga in Sugar House. And it's an amazing practice. And would you believe, Melissarella?
Oh no. I'm afraid.
That they said it was reminiscent of when God breathes life into Adam.
Ew. Wow,
Yes.
I hate that a lot.
I am with you on that.
That's gross.
I was just, and again, given that, like, to me, like, your breath it's how you can help to regulate your nervous system. There's, the sciencey parts, right? Like, it's all there. And yet they would like to take it for the creation story / myth. So yeah,
I really don't like that. I mean, I think I wouldn't really have a problem if it was like, oh, here's our 4-week like exercise program for a confined apartment, like you said, or in case those missionaries are in a place where it's maybe not like necessarily safe to go out and run or exercise or whatever, which, that sort of presents the question, should you even be sending them there? But, regardless, like if it was just like a cute little like stretching and exercise program, I think that would be fine. But yeah, what you're saying here is not you're not saying things I like right now. This is not filling me with joy.
Yeah. And also, to be clear, this was them talking about like yoga generally, not specific as it relates to the missionary program. But I love what you said. They could have called this a gentle move stretch program.
Yeah. I mean, you could
100%.
Even call it yoga and then just sort of, just do some of the poses. I don't know. I don't like this.
You're like, I don't like it. Well, yeah, they like called it a yoga guide. So to me, that kind of like ties in all of the things that you've been saying, where it's like, oh yeah, don't be doing any of the meditative or spiritual stuff, but like, we're going to take the name because we know you'll all recognize it. And it's better, than calling it a stretching sequence or something, kind of puts it all together in a lovely wee bow on the top kind of a thing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I tried to look up the handbook. So Mel, what do you know about the Mormon handbook?
Oh, okay. Yeah. The handbook. So if I'm not wrong, and I might be, the handbook is for those male priesthood leaders in the position of authority, right? And it's kind of a reference guide for them to, figure out how to navigate members' questions or like different procedures or whatever. Doesn't it cover things like excommunication and all that stuff, as well as just kind of like advice they should be providing their congregation?
Yeah, and as you quite rightly point out, and shockingly, it's only available to the men in the higher positions of power. So it's not like a general book that's available I don't know if that's changed since I've been in it, but to members. But it's like an ABC Encyclopedia of Guidance.
Right. Yeah, I think at least traditionally, it was never available to the general membership. It's not published on the internet, except I think now it is published on the internet because, some people who are ex-Mormon have put it there. But I don't think it's like officially, although that might have changed. Maybe it's on LDS.org now, but it didn't ever used to be publicly available.
Yeah, and I kind of love that we both don't know the answer to that question.
I know. I've just been out of it for too long. I don't know, like, the current, like, trends in Mormonism or ex-Mormonism or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not too on top either, which of actually anything right now, sidebar. But yeah, I wonder if they did make it widely available, but there is nothing on yoga in this book, apparently. I find an AP News, would you believe, article on Mormons and yoga, and it was published just last year, so pretty recent. And they quoted the Pew research study in it. And so this is a little quote from the article. It says, "Some conservative Latter-day Saints, Mormons, avoid yoga due to concerns over its origins in Eastern mysticism." Concerns. Yeah, we need to pause there in the quote, like concerns, like it's, an addictive substance or a weapon. It's like, it's very concerning. Because yoga inherently means union with the divine, some members worry that adopting the practice can introduce beliefs incompatible with Christian doctrine, or that emptying the mind during meditation creates spiritual vulnerability.
Oh, is that when the evil spirits get in?
Yeah, because apparently what I'm hearing is they want your mind to be full of garbage at all times, and clearing it is bad because then you might have different thoughts.
Yeah. Okay, you know what? I will say, though, in these conservative Mormons, whoever they're quoting, in their defense, this is at least intellectually consistent. At least they're saying yoga is rooted in a different spiritual practice than our own, and so we're going to avoid it because that is a separate sort of, spiritual heritage. That's at least consistent.
That is very true. It's like a, wow, I feel like I've been mind-fucked now.
That's actually more intellectually honest than LDS.org putting a yoga program for missionaries on their website, I would say.
That it's true, because it is acknowledging a couple of things, right? That it is a spiritual practice.
Yep.
That it is a powerful practice.
Yep. You might get weird ideas if you clear your mind. Some doubts about what you're doing with your life might creep in. So while I don't agree with them that like this is something dangerous, I am saying that like this is more intellectually honest.
I love that point. And isn't it also interesting that they have to then make it cryptic and nefarious?
Yeah, right.
This evil practice of yoga will corrupt your mind.
Well, they didn't say that. They only implied it.
Yes. It's like the gateway drug to coffee.
That's right.
Look at you now. Like, look at me. It's all true. You started with coffee. I started with yoga, and
there you go. Look where you end up.
Right. I drink coffee now, and you do yoga. So yeah, it's
sometimes very occasionally.
We succumbed. we arguably succumbed. So it's funny that you mentioned that, because at one part in this interview, they had a good chortle and a chuckle, and they said, "Can Mormons actually really call anything weird?"
Well, that's a great question, and I'm going to go with no.
Yeah, and it was so funny, though, how that was cloaked in cutesy, we're a little quirky, versus, concerns over emptying your mind.
We just do these cute little quirky things like take blood oaths in the temple and simulate slitting our own throats and pulling our intestines out.
Oh, God.
Which, to be fair, they don't do that in the temple anymore, but they used to.
Yes.
When my parents went through, they definitely did that. The blood oaths were still there. Just these cute little quirky weird things,
Yeah, so cute, as you do of a Saturday afternoon.
It's kind of
So
adorable, actually.
it's like so cute. I love it.
Yeah.
So yeah, they have a thing with that. I mean, visions, other temple things, doing things for dead people, polygamy, sex with underage people.
Ew.
The list goes on. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say about all of it other than, wishing the missionaries well with their 4-week stretching program.
Yep. Good luck with that, y'all.
The,
That's
ex- the
fun.
acceptable the acceptable kind of yoga. So
Well,
yeah.
let me ask a question to you. What benefits would you say that yoga has had in your life or that it might have in someone else's life? And if someone is thinking about establishing a regular yoga practice, what would you recommend?
I love this question, and I think it is a great way to wrap up um, a otherwise very spicy little episode today. Definitely. For me personally, it's always been a good, I mean, I can't just say it's a physical practice. I may have thought it was, but, it's it's one of the only things where you can actually get out of your head for me and into your body, because I'm a very clumsy human, and whether I'm teaching it or practicing it in someone else's class, um like I have to be there. I can't be in the usual 5,000 offshoots
Yes, I love that as well.
that are normally happening, and it's because you have to be thinking about it all the time while you're practicing it, right? And it's a moving meditation when you sync your breath with movement. Like, I like vinyasa style yoga where you're syncing breath to movement, and it becomes like a little moving meditation. And, a lot of people talk about flexibility, and ooh, fucking ooh, if I had a dime for every time that you mention it on a dating website, which I don't do anymore, and it's like,
Ew.
flexible. Like, ooh, ooh,
Oh,
ooh.
people,
Just
don't do that. That's disgusting.
no, no,
Ew.
don't, just stop. Like, that's a Melissa, like, clap. Stop.
Once again, that's
We're
actually my sister-in-law, just to attribution, not the one that you know, but
yes.
the one in California.
We like our
Yes,
attribution,
but we love it.
definitely.
Yes.
Yes.
The face clap.
And
It's very powerful.
I do really like that part, but I think that is one of the biggest benefits for me, is like the out of the head into the body, the flexibility thing. Oh yeah, gross. I it's actually, I'm not going to say it's a myth, because obviously for your muscles and, things like that, it can help with tightness, but it's more to do with like stability and mobility. So, not that I'm a shining example of it right now, because I put my back out twice in like 3 weeks,
Oh,
but
I'm so sorry.
oh, you're so sweet. I just look like I'm 100 years old, like staggering up, holding onto walls. But
Oh,
I do believe that with the practice of yoga, though, things like that, you can recover much quicker. Because if you have a strong core, which yoga will give you when you practice it over time. And it's not about having a ripped six pack, because I do not have that. But it's about, your deep core and strengthening that for your lower back and all that kind of stuff. I just really, I kind of like to have reasons for things, and I know I'm like the woo woo one of us, but like, I like to know why inhaling and holding your breath at the top and then sighing is good for your nervous system. Like, I need to know why. And so that like sums up my approach to yoga. I just think it really is an amazing practice for your body in terms of wellness, helping you sleep better, as you go into aging, helping with stability. I mean, a lot of old people have falls, and I think if you're practicing balancing and things like that regularly, it's not gonna hurt you as you go into aging, and even if you're not. I love it. It's always been. I don't even know how to describe it, honestly, but I just always take a lot of comfort. And again, I'm really just cautious of sounding like a ding ding middle-aged white lady. Oh, this thing that I discovered. Like,
Stop.
but like, it just has always been a thing that, like, even if I'm really sad or very stressed or very happy or whatever, it's like the mat is always there. Maybe it's, it's a consistent thing that you can get on and practice and be there and actually get a mental break for 75 minutes out of your day.
I love that. Yeah, I think that all those benefits that you just mentioned are super real. And now I am not feeling guilty, but I'm feeling like I often do, which is I should practice yoga more often. I don't do it all that much just because, not because I don't like it, I really, really do, but other things get in the way. I don't make it a priority. That's on me. So absolutely, I should. So yeah, friends, if you're interested in doing some yoga, we have some suggestions for you. Our friend Emily at Ritual Hot Yoga is amazing. Or Claire, if they want to practice with you, do you want to give yourself a wee plug?
Well, and I would like to give my wee yoga communities I am a part of a plug, because I am fortunate to teach at two places that I wholeheartedly believe in what they're trying to do. One of them is Mosaic Yoga, and it is a donation-based co-op collective, basically, of local yoga teachers. And we just want to make yoga accessible because, as we've talked about with the toxic wellness industry, I mean, you could pay anything, hundreds a month. I even got an ad on Instagram for a yoga place that's exclusive, and you get champagne before.
Ew. Oh, God.
But it was really expensive, and I was like, ooh, that's you're missing the point. But yeah.
Wow, I love me some champagne, but that rubs me the wrong way too.
Yeah, just not really a compatible thing. So we make it donation based. So every teacher has a QR code for Venmo, or we have a little bowl for cash, and you just come and pay what you can. The suggested donation is $5 to $25, and shout out to our sort of long-term people who come, who are maybe at a time in life when they do have the means to pay more and do pay more. And it makes it so that people who can't can come, pardon me, and put a few dollars in and feel good about it, and get their practice in for something that might otherwise cost them $30 a class. So
I love that.
Shout out to Mosaic. And we're in Sugar House Alley, behind Sugar House Coffee. A little hard to find in the first go, admittedly.
Oh yeah,
so
I know
allow
where
yourself
that is.
extra time. It's great though. I do love being a part of that wee community. I also teach at Full Circle Yoga, which is also in Salt Lake, and they are a therapeutic whole situation. So therapy, 12-step. Yoga for pain management, yoga for 12-step. They take a very trauma-informed approach, which again, I'm very passionate about, because obviously bodies, there's a lot going on. And with it being a therapeutic place, you want to be mindful of why people might be coming to yoga. So just things like cueing, I'm going to turn the lights on. The furnace might kick in, you might hear a sound, or, sort of giving people notice so that it doesn't become potentially triggering for them. So, yeah.
I love that. Full Circle is a beautiful space. I've practiced there before with my lovely Claire, and I can highly recommend it.
It's beautiful. They like it's on Main Street, but they have this lovely garage door that opens at the back, and it's a garden, and you hear the birds, and it doesn't
Nice.
feel like you're on Main Street. I have to say one more thing for yoga, which I love as well, is I think there's a lot of shall we say, more affluent as well, like this focus on, oh, I meditate. I just sit up every morning and meditate. And I'm not making fun of that again. I mean, my voice would suggest otherwise, so I apologize. But like the thing that I love about yoga is you can't sit with a still mind until you have a still body. And the idea that you practice before meditation, it's like, people actually knew the body and knew, what we needed to sit in stillness. And I've said before, I think the best thing anybody can do in the morning is put on their favorite song and jump around, which is obviously not yoga specific, but just getting the tension out of your body before you try to sit in stillness is always a good idea.
I love that.
Well, there you go. We covered a lot of ground today, my Mel.
Yeah, we sure did. This was a really fun one. I enjoyed it. A little different than our, I guess, normal run-of-the-mill topic, but hope you enjoyed it. And if you did enjoy it, you know what to do. Give us a like, a follow, leave us a comment, a 5-star rating, or a review, and come to yoga. Come visit Rachel, or come visit our lovely Claire or her colleagues at one of the yoga studios that she teaches at.
Definitely, and we'll link everything in show notes, so don't be scrambling for like a wee piece of paper to write it all down, or maybe nobody does that anymore.
I still do that.
Well, have a wonderful day. Maybe do some sun salutations for the actual sun, and stay salty.
We'll catch you next time. Bye, friends.
See ya. Bye.